Medical Superintendent of Dagoretti Sub-County Hospital, Mutwini. I'm here representing Nairobi County Health Directorate on today, which is World AIDS Day.
Being the 1st of December marking the World AIDS Day, what is the situation, of course, nationwide as far as HIV is concerned?
Now, I would say nationwide. I think statistically over the years, HIV prevalence has been rising. However, new infections have been going down because we're having more and more people getting to know their status. And knowing your status is part of the way part of our strategies and the Ministry of Health strategies to reduce the spread of the disease itself. And I would say, again, over the last few years, research has shown we have more women who know their HIV status as compared to men. About over 80% of women do know their HIV status as compared to the men. We have roughly between 60 to 65% of men who know their status. So I think today's strategy is to have more men know their status. At least let's close that gap between men knowing their status, less men knowing their status compared to more women who know their status. And then the other worrying trend has been the issue of young people, age 29 and below. We do have more new infections in that age group as compared to how it was in the past. So that is a worrying trend right now. And I think that's now the current strategy to have those new infections in those young people being reduced.
Speaking of strategy, of course we have the Hiv and Kicking coming in line, of course, for strategizing and creating awareness in the community. How does that make you feel as far as it is concerned?
Hiv and Kicking coming on board for us is refreshing because the community is really excited about the free footballs that are being given, and of course it has attracted the young people, the young generations that we are targeting today for testing. We have seen a very large number of young men, which again targets the men that we're trying to get tested, and also very young children, not very, very young, but young, below 10, again, which is an age group we rarely get to test, unless they come and they show symptoms of being sick, which leads us to suspecting HIV. It's rare that they will be a parent will actually initiate and say, test my child. So I think it has attracted a very young cohort of people for us, which is quite refreshing and an eye-opener. Would like to have more of such partnerships in the future. I don't think this is just the only day we will test HIV. We will keep on doing this over and over. I guess it's the beginning. And I am happy because other than the fact that people have gotten free balls, there is the memory of, I actually got tested, and it is easy for me to get a HIV test. So we have planted that seed of awareness about getting yourself tested and how a HIV test is done, because we have also self-testing kits that have been administered today. So I feel we have a lot more awareness in the community about HIV testing than we had yesterday, if you ask me. Yeah.
All right. So public and private sectors coming in line to create awareness. What is the responsibility?
Oh, that's a very interesting question, because I feel we have left the burden of HIV treatment and testing to the government and the so-called development partners, who are the donors, many who are international donors. We have left that burden to them. And it's been carried for a very long time since AIDS was declared a pandemic. And the private sector, I feel, have been interested in partnering with the government, but there's not much partnership that has been going on. But I feel like in the last few years, since COVID probably started, there's a lot more PPP, or let's say public partnership with the government to accelerate this kind of an initiative. So there is a huge gap with the partnership with the private sector. But I think we're at a better place than where we were. And I would actually urge a lot more private partners to also come in and help us to hold this, this heavy weight, to carry the heavy weight together, because it belongs to all of us as Kenyans. It doesn't belong to just the government. It's not the work of the government only. And I do know that, like, for example, private hospitals, they do actually do a lot when it comes to HIV testing and care, for example. Then the other partnership that I'm happy about is MyDawa, because I know they sell a lot of self-testing kits in their platform, and I'm happy that today they were able to give so many free self-testing kits and showing people on how to do self-testing. So that partnership is very much welcome. And I know also private pharmacies who are actually on the platform of My Dawa are on board with this. Yes.
On the issue of course protectives. So what can you be able to urge the government as well as the community on this control?
On the control. So protectives, I think when people talk about protectives, they mostly think about condoms. If I was to go in that direction. But let me just say, as a healthcare worker, getting yourself tested, knowing your status. If you do test negative, making sure you remain negative. If you do test positive, getting yourself to a point of care so that there is treatment, it's available, it's free. Getting yourself treated and making sure that your partners are also getting tested or you disclose as well. That is part of the way of also protecting. So let's go to the one now that people know what protection is, condoms, for example. The government provides a lot of free condoms in hospitals, in public toilets, in clubs, and so many other places. But in the recent past, as you have seen, the government has been carrying this burden by itself. So it's becoming also very heavy for the burden to keep on, for the government to keep on carrying this burden by itself, or it's providing free. It's free to the user, but it's not free to the government. They are buying. So I would ask also that we take this initiative as a society, individual initiative as well, that we are also using protection, especially when we go, especially in our sexual encounters. It can also it prevents many other diseases other than HIV, because if you are exposing yourself to other sexually transmitted diseases, you also expose yourself to HIV itself, which is a sexually transmitted disease. So let's take this initiative as an individual responsibility rather than a government responsibility.
No.
Yeah.
A good point to end it there.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My name is Moses.